Hi guys, yeah, just starting in a second. Just getting my last couple of little things on my screens going, and yeah, then we'll get going. Usual thing. Obviously, if you let me know in the comments you can hear me okay, that will be awesome. Yeah, so it seems like everything's going okay. What I'm going to try and work on is get some sort of little intro to come up right at the very beginning. Just like a little countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, blah, blah, blah. And have some sort of sound on it. Just because then I can, so I've got a little earbud, just so I can hear myself. And then I know that obviously you can hear me. But obviously my biggest problem is there's about a 10-second delay in me actually talking and, well, you hearing me. So that's why sometimes when I do talk at the very beginning, there's a bit of a gap because I'm waiting, waiting for that 10 seconds so I can hear myself. Right, I can hear myself, so I can turn, well, myself off because I don't really want to hear myself, especially when it is 10 seconds after I've just said something, which is even weirder, obviously for me. So I've got a little bit of music in my ear, a little bit of Magic Mellow. Let's just change the screen. Right, so I can see who we've got. Yes, I say each stream should get a bit easier. I am going to start getting into a regular routine of doing at least sort of one a week, maybe two. Obviously, it's a little bit different or difficult at the moment to say when. Obviously, with the school summer holidays, so obviously I have my kids quite a bit, which is awesome. But when I get back into doing school time, there's probably more chance of me doing some morning ones. And talking of my children, there's one of them, Liv Gunner. Hello. Yeah, there's not many people on at the moment, Liv. But obviously, yeah, thank you for being there. So, guys, if you want to leave a chat, and there's another one of mine on there as well. Yeah, Liv Gunner, Josh Gunner, obviously my lovely children. Yeah, guys, if you want to sort of get into the chat, you don't have to, obviously. If you want to say hi, then yeah, say hi to me and say hi to my my miniature hobbyists. So yeah, okay, yeah, they're just talking to themselves. Right, so yeah, obviously, I don't know if you've seen the last few live streams. Obviously, this is what I'm building. The Thunderhawk. This is the '97 version. So basically, this is the first one I think that was made. And Games Workshop obviously made this out of metal. So this is obviously quite an expensive one because this is actually Squidmar's one that he sold for about £26,000. Oh, pardon me. Obviously, mine's going to be made out of plastic. So if mine sold for £26.50, I'd be quite impressed. But yeah, so this is basically what I'm making, and I'm making it all out of sprues. Obviously, you started a couple of streams ago. Obviously, whenever I do the streams, the speed at which I work is a lot slower than if I wasn't streaming. So obviously everything I'm doing, I am taking little bits of video of like I would normally, just so I can make it into a normal sort of 14-15 minute video, so you'll be able to see this being built from start to end, obviously a lot quicker than it's actually taking me on these streams. So this is what I got to on the last one. So obviously the first thing I always do with any of these kind of builds is do a framework, and then start obviously encasing it in these sprue panels. And that's obviously what I'm doing here. And yes, everything I'm doing with this, I'm kind of doing in a stream. I've done a few little bits out of stream, and that was purely, I made this little thing. My screen's got a bit funny. Yes, I made this little bit that goes on the back, this little bit that goes on the top. I've run out of sprues now, so I've got a few panels I can do now, but then this might sort of go on hold for a week or so while I'm waiting for some sprues to turn up. And I've had loads of you lovely guys contact me and send me sprues. There's quite a few coming from America. I think I've got one from Netherlands, and there is one coming from somewhere in the UK. So yeah, I've got quite a few sprues coming. I'm going to try and get as much of this done as obviously I can. But when I say I haven't got many sprues, this is what I have left. That's all the sprues I have. I have no sprue goo left. So it's this. I've got some panels that I'm going to be putting on, and that's kind of it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to wait until I get more stuff. Right, so we got Conscript, Avalon 2. One of my favourite names coming up, Squism Wizard. Love that name, it's awesome. Harry Mullica, Leonardo Galdino, Argentina. Awesome, good to see you. Yeah, again, apologies if I say your name incorrectly or a bit of a mispronunciation. I am pants with saying names, unless your name's like John, Paul, Dave, sort of that kind of thing. So yeah, I did them bits off stream, off camera. I also had another go at using my little mould here to make the front sort of thruster. This one's come out a whole lot better. Obviously the first attempt, it's like one of those cakes you put in the oven. It comes out, looks wonderful, and then it just sinks into itself. And that's what happened here. But I think the reason for this is the sprue goo that I was using. As you can see, it's brown. I was using the red sprues, green sprues, and there's some grey sprues in there. What we found out in one of the last streams is these ones seem to have some sort of coating on them, because it's very difficult to glue them. It takes forever. So it's almost like the glue just sort of runs off. So I reckon there's some sort of coating on these that when you use these to make sprue goo, again, it's not like the normal sprue goo that's made from just the grey sprues. Well, that's my excuse for this one doing its little sinking trick even, because this one's come out a whole lot better. Oh, the other thing I have done as well, which wasn't on my last stream. Again, you see all these bits in when I do the video, you'll see every single little stage. But with the sprue panels, you can make them round. And obviously to do that, you make the sprue panel the normal way, greaseproof paper, bit of sprue, roll it out, some more greaseproof paper, and then wrap that around something that's round. And that's exactly what I did here. Wrapped it around something that's round, leave it for like, well, I think I left it for a good day or two, slid the whole thing off, and then obviously cut into it, just because these are going to obviously make up part of the engines that go obviously either side. So you can have the engine there, and obviously that's where this bit comes in, gets glued onto the front, and then you need all the other little gubbiny bits and the exhaust ports, whatever it is. So yes, I'm going to have that either side. Haven't glued these down yet. Say I literally only did them a bit earlier, videoed that, so say you'll be able to see all that bit. So yeah, so in tonight's stream, literally going to carry on putting some panels on. So I haven't got many panels. I've only got a few. There's a few other little bits and pieces there. So yeah, so the panels are all going to go on. You can get this glued on, that glued on, and then yeah, see where it goes really. So yeah, any questions, guys? By all means, ask away. If you've got any questions that are aimed directly at me, just in case if I do miss them in the chat, if you put at miniature hobbyist, it comes up, highlights it in yellow, like orange, no yellow, just so I can see it basically, which makes it obviously easier for me to answer any questions. Avalon, have I decided if I'm going to paint it? If and how? Oh yeah, it's going to be painted. I'm going to stick with Squidmar's sort of look, mainly because I like red, and orcs obviously love red because it goes faster, supposedly. Yeah, it's quite simple colours really, isn't it? There's obviously a bit of red, a bit of gold, a little bit of yellow, and then obviously silver engine. And I'm going to try and have a go at doing these like the old thruster burn marks. But obviously he used a paintbrush, not paintbrush, paint gun, spray gun, which I haven't got. So we'll have a go at that. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be a relatively simple paint job. I mean, then again, all my paint jobs are relatively simple because that's all I can do. But we'll see. DKS Creations, hi to you. Right, so yes, I'm going to start by gluing these bits on, just so they can be in the rough position. I say, because I've only got enough panels to probably do the top bit, and then I might just sort of try and do one side, just because I won't have enough to do the whole top and both sides. Because I say, I kind of started this with the sprues that I had, which obviously was nowhere near enough to what I actually needed to complete this. But as I say, I've got loads of sprues turning up, which is awesome, because I'm going to do one build a month, and I'm going to possibly let you guys decide what I build. If not, it might well be my patrons. Say one sprue build from any sort of Warhammer thing, one a month, and yeah, I might let the patrons decide what that's going to be. But it has to be something relatively small. I'm not going to go massive. Like that Town Manta I did was just too big, and yeah, it got a bit too much in the end. It's like I was dreaming about sprues. So yeah, something a bit smaller will be better. So as I say, I will be doing some videoing. The main camera that you're looking through, that's the one I actually do the videoing on. So sometimes you will see me moving it around just to get nearer and obviously, well, frame the shot that I want to get in. So I hope you guys are all having a good day, evening, morning, whatever time it is with you. I have now got some cement glue as well, just because obviously I've just been using super glue, which is obviously good enough stuff, but it does seem to like sticking my fingers more than the actual sprues. Whereas, oh sorry guys, I've got a really itchy nose. I sometimes suffer from hay fever, and today for some reason I have had an itchy nose, but not sure why. Avalon, you're going to send yours? Oh, yours tomorrow. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I say. I mean, as long as I get this done by the end of the month, I'll be happy, because I say this will be my August Sprue Warhammer build, and then obviously next month will be something else entirely. So right, I'm just going to frame this up, because I'm just going to. So I've videoed myself unrolling this or pulling this off the tube, cutting it up. So now it's just a case of me obviously doing that little bit of filming, showing me putting it in its place. So let's press record. There we go. So I can say that I've cut it, and obviously it's going to go something like that. Show me holding it for a couple of seconds in the film. We can stop that and we'll leave that to actually dry. So say, I do like the cement glue because it doesn't stick your fingers, but it still obviously feels a little bit slimy. So I'll just wipe that off. Alright, and obviously we'll do the same with the other side. So what are you guys up to at the moment? Are you guys building anything, making something, or are you just chilling after a tough day in the office? Once it's glued from this side, I'll turn it over and just glue the other side just to make sure. Right, that looks good. Yeah, so like I've done with the obviously the thruster bits, there's a few things that I'm going to do with those. If you didn't see my last couple of live streams, obviously I have done like the eagle wings, which have come out. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how they've come out. It's pretty decent enough. Obviously, I've got another mould, obviously for the wings. Obviously these come out a lot easier than this. Say sprue glue you can use to cast things, but it really needs to be like a simple sort of design, preferably not too deep, and easy to sort of like pop out. Whereas this, because obviously it's quite deep for the nozzle bit, the deeper or the thicker sprue glue is, obviously the longer it takes to dry, which is why sometimes it can be difficult to do something that's a bit tricky like that. But yeah, the eagle wings, literally 7-8 hours, pop that out, and then you can just sort of cut round, and then you have one of these, which is pretty cool, because obviously that will go either side on the main build, which is awesome. Let's do that. New Gamer 85. Hey mate, back on the Warhammer, great to see. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. I think what it was, I get, I kind of get all or nothing. So that's why I do a lot of Warhammer stuff. That's why recently I've been doing a lot of D&D stuff. But I'm going to try and do it now. I say try because I see how it goes. To try and do, say, I'm going to do one Warhammer build a month out of sprues. Obviously going to do some D&D stuff, but I'm also saving all my sort of recycling stuff because I want to do some scratch building, because I haven't done that for a while. Obviously, I recently did a kit bashing. Again, I love doing all sorts, but I do get fixated with doing one thing and then doing it lots. So I need to try this month or every month to try and do a bit of all sorts. So there is a bit of scratch bashing, kit bashing, sprue building, general D&D making, painting, all that kind of stuff really. But we'll see how it goes because I know what I'm like. But definitely going to be one sprue build every month. That's why it needs to be something reasonably sized, not mahoosive. Otherwise, obviously, so that Tau Manta, I'm not even sure how many hours I put into that. That was just quite a monster build. Right, we can flip this over just so we can get a little bit of grey underneath. Hashishi, yeah, you have caught me live building terrain for D&D. No, this is obviously it's a Thunderhawk model. It's like a drop ship kind of thing for Warhammer. So yeah, I'm going to do a bit of Warhammer as well as D&D stuff, just to vary it up a little bit. Oh. Yeah, there's only problem about using this cement glue. Obviously, it doesn't dry as quick as super glue, which I do forget about sometimes. Cool. Yeah, so say I've made a couple of bits off camera, literally just a little framework, just to use up the last sort of sprues that I've got. One goes up there, and this one goes at the back. So there's still a little bit more to do because there's obviously the tail at the back. There is a little wing that comes off of the front. But basically, it's like everything. Like I always say, whenever I build something, I break it down into small bits. So I accomplish that bit, then I move on to the next bit, and then so on. Just because it's easier to work on something when you break it down into smaller parts. It's not as sort of overwhelming or tricky to figure out. It's a lot easier to do one bit at a time, basically. Box Fox even, sorry, howdy. And dancing. McSom S, hello to you too. Yeah, so by all means, guys, chat amongst yourselves, ask me questions. Let me know what it is you guys are doing, because I always like to know what you guys are up to. Because obviously, clearly you can see what I'm up to. Right, so I'm using the old cement glue, but it does mean I have to hold something for a little bit longer. Yeah, like that. But then we know it's obviously going to adhere rather well. New Game 85, if you fancy the Elder Raider, I'm in the market. You've always wanted the model and it out of print. Elder Raider. Okay, I need to have a look to see what that is then, because I haven't got a clue. So that's the thing with the Warhammer 40k, or Warhammer, any of the Warhammer stuff. Yeah, a lot of the vehicles, I wouldn't have a clue what they are. Whether it's a vehicle or a large robot or whatever it is. Just because obviously I've never played the game, so I don't know quite what some of the stuff is. Obviously when I was doing a lot more Warhammer stuff, it was always more orientated towards orcs. Just because I love orcs. So that's kind of why I made the orc stomper. There's an orc, I can't remember what the other vehicle was called, but basically another sort of transporter for troops. That goes like that. And right, this, I think it goes just straight on the end. I was going to quickly look up the reference picture for this, just so I know how far it goes. I think it does actually go right to the back. But I forgot to get the picture up earlier. Let's have a quick look at that. I can bring the picture up. Where is it? Trying to see which picture I've got that looks the best. it does seem to just be a little bit of a gap at the back. Yeah, that'll do. Let's use some of this. Well, I'm contemplating making a very tiny Crazy Dave, the orc, and having him sitting in this, especially as it's red. I think it'd look good, good for him. Oh, sorry, Hashish. Hashishi, you're building some terrain. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, sometimes I do misread things. Well, sometimes. I think most of the time. Good old eyeballing, getting it in the centre. Alright, that looks good. That'll go there. That's at the back. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to making the big cannon that goes at the front. Again, I need to dig it out, but I have got these silicone molds, like circle or half circle molds, and that would be great for making that sort of big ball shape there, so that I can make that nice and easy. I think the other thing I might make a mold of is possibly the guns. I'm not sure. We'll see. If I can make the gun easier out of sprue, I'd rather do it straight from sprue, just because obviously it takes a lot more time making a mold, and obviously a lot more in cost to make a mold, but we will see. Box Fox, in the grim dark future 41st millennia, there is no aerodynamic, only boxy square corners. Fair enough. Andre, can't make it, but you keep streaming. Okay, cheers, buddy. Well, I hope whatever it is you're doing is good. I can't remember. Yeah, I think. Yeah, sorry. I think you did put a comment earlier, but I didn't comment what it was. But yeah, I hope all's okay. Avalon got a hand on about €100 worth of Warhammer Fantasy Chaos Army. Oh wow. Currently converting them for the Age of Sigmar. Yeah, I must say the old kit bashing. I do enjoy kit bashing. It is a bit of fun, isn't it? Let's move that up a little bit just so we can get that in there nicely. Yeah, as I say, I haven't got a lot of panels, so this stream might not be as long as the last few, because literally, say I am out of sprues. So the sprues I've got is literally these last few bits. Obviously I have got some figures, but I don't really want to stick. Obviously I've got a box of like for kit bashing, the old bits box, but I really don't want to put my figures in and dissolve them because I like obviously kit bashing them. But this is all the sprues I've got, and as I was saying a bit earlier, I think if you're going to make sprue goo, don't use these green and red ones, because they're definitely coated in something that when they turn into sprue goo it looks pretty good, but it's not as good as the grey stuff. And again, for gluing, these were a nightmare. The glue just seems to, I don't know, sit on top of them. But hey ho, sometimes you have to use what you've got. But yeah, KD is slowly working on the Orc truck. Oh cool. His son got it for you on Father's Day. Oh nice. Yes, that was what. Yeah, the Orc truck was what I made out of sprues. Oh yeah, nearly 2 years ago I think. But so Fox is working on. Is that a Mechanicus themed diorama? Oh cool. It's a cutaway of a tower. Oh nice, bookcase, candles, and obviously skulls and scrolls. Awesome. I do like that kind of look. Right, so yeah, I am literally, yeah, so the other problem I was going to make a video, I haven't made it yet, about making sprue panels even flatter than, well, even flatter than they've been before. So I made some the other day, didn't I, these front ones, and these are pretty smooth. Won't make them again. Basically what it is, I rolled out panels the way I normally roll them out, and then I put them through a like a mangler to sort of like make them even thinner and flatter. There's an optimum time to do it though, between when you've first sort of made these panels. Obviously you leave them 7-8 hours for the acetone to evaporate these to turn it back into plastic. But these ones that I've got here, I actually left these for about 2 days. So when you put them through this mangler thing, rather than them going through nicely, it's kind of cracked, or there are some like small cracks in it. So obviously there's a nice time. So I did put some through too soon, and when you put them through this mangler thing, basically it's a pasta maker. I keep calling it a mangler, but a pasta maker. The old sort of like windy thing, you put it in, makes it nice and thin. I put the sprue panel in too soon, and when it sort of squeezed the panel, there was still some soft sprue goo inside, which oozed out the side, and then clogged up the whole thing. It took me ages to clean it. So there's a nice time to do it. You can hear that vehicle outside, where it's not sprue goo and it's not gone too hard. So I need to do quite a few more tests with it, just so I can make a video to sort of say the optimum time is between hour say 10 and 13 hours after first rolling it out is when you should put it through the pasta maker. But yeah, I need more sprues to do some tests with. But we'll have a look. Box. It's like the colour itself. There's some properties that don't mix. Yeah, it's definitely those sprues are coated in something that the grey ones aren't. But who knows what it is. Favvision, you're amazing. You're amazing too. Thank you so much for being here, watching and commenting. And Joel, hello. Hello to you. Right, so we're going to do the good old way of me offering this up, getting a marker, and then marking on it to work out where I need to cut. Right, so let's cut this bottom bit nice and straight. Obviously, that's something I love about these panels. You can just cut them, normal scissors, and yeah, good to go. Right, so it's looking like that. And we'll go there. Let's do that one first. Yeah, so say this may well be a shorter stream than the last ones, purely because, well, I'm going to get these bits put on, and then that's kind of like as far as I'll be able to go in this one, really. But again, it kind of depends on you guys as well. The more questions you ask, obviously, the more time I spend answering questions than getting stuff done, really. Although I have just been sent a rather large box of goodies from WizKids, so it will be primarily sort of D&D kind of related stuff. But yeah, they sent me a big box. It's $400 worth of their stuff. I haven't a clue what it is. So it's kind of like, well, it's a surprise box. It's literally what it is. It's a surprise box of $400 worth of WizKids stuff. So I'm going to do a live stream of that, and then turn that into a video of obviously the stuff that's in it. So that'll probably, what's this week? So that may be this week. I'm not too sure. I've got a few things this week, and then I've got a wedding at the weekend. So yeah, the unboxing might be next week actually. Yeah, not too bad. So I can just trim a little bit off in a mo. Joel, this is great to watch whilst painting minis. Awesome. Well, I know a lot of you guys, it is a case of you kind of like have me on the background, which is awesome. Because whenever I'm building or making something, normally I've got something in the background. Whether I'm watching a movie from Amazon Prime, Netflix, or I'm watching YouTube, like you guys. So yes, it's always nice to have something on in the background while you are sort of painting, building, well, or making. So yeah, have me on in the background. There we go, plenty of that. Oh, I'll turn this the right way around. Yeah. So say this one's got a few little cracks. You might not be able to see them too well. So what I would do is just fill them in. Well, so what I'm actually going to do Once this whole thing is encased, I'm then going to make some very thin sprue goo panels and possibly glue them on top. Because something I was originally thinking about doing was covering the whole thing in sprue panels and then somehow cutting little lines in, because obviously with this build it's kind of made up from loads of panels, but then I was wondering how well I could make cuts into this, so it might just be easier rolling out some more panels, super thin ones, and then obviously using my scissors, cut them out nicely and then attaching them all onto it. But again, a lot of these things I have a rough idea of what I'm doing. Obviously having a rough idea helps, but then as I'm building it, sometimes things change. Sometimes I come up with a better idea, or sometimes I think of something and then think it's going to take such a long time to do something and it's really not worth the effort. But we'll see. So my main concern at the moment is just getting this thing covered completely in sprue panels, and then going from there. Then basically then doing all like the smaller details and the bits and pieces. So, yes, KD, I have some sprue goo. Haven't played around much yet, but made some panels. Oh, cool. Yeah, again with the sprue goo making panels, it can be hit and miss. I know I sometimes have panels that come out awesome, and you think, wow, that is like super smooth. And then you might have other ones that come out and they're like a dog's dinner, and it's like, well, I've done nothing different. But I know a lot of it is to do with the sort of like room temperature, how quick the acetone evaporates has a big effect. Because I haven't done these for a while, I can't remember if a cold room or a warm room is better. So my room is, well, it's a nice temperature. Obviously I've got the windows open because it's been a hot day. And well, whenever I'm using lots of glue, I always have the windows open. I do like fresh air. KD, my whole household builds. Oh, Gundam. Ah, okay. Need to try and see if you can make some sprue goo from theirs. Yeah. Again, I can't remember. I was sent a big box of Gundam stuff. Yeah, about a year and a half, maybe nearly 2 years ago. I can't remember what happened. I'm sure the Gundam sprues are kind of like these green and red ones. They have some sort of coating on them. And I'm sure I had to go making sprue goo, and I can't remember what the result was. I don't think it was as good as Warhammer sprues, but it might still have been usable. Yeah, so this is where obviously I've got a lousy memory. So I really can't remember because it was quite some time ago. I know it does dissolve. I'm just not sure how well it goes. Right, so I need to make two more of these. So this one's come out really well. There's a little bit of holes there, but if I wanted to, I could just fill in with sprue goo. So yeah, so this thing's got 3 engines. Obviously, there's one either side, as you can kind of see at the moment, and there is a third one right underneath that goes all the way from front to back. Well, from the middle anyway. So yeah, so these are literally going to be glued on there, and then obviously any little gaps, that's where obviously sprue goo is great for filling in any little gaps. But yeah, we shall. I think what I'm going to do, no, we'll stick with this actually. I was going to use the super glue just because it's quicker, but so this stuff is good. You just got to hold it for that bit longer, but we'll see how it goes. That looks nice and central, so we'll just hold on to that. Conscript, do you make enough panels for what you're doing? See, now this is the problem I've got at the moment, because I'm just getting back into doing sprue builds after a bit of a gap. I don't have many sprues, but what I would generally do is, yeah, I would make loads and loads of panels up, and then I've got a box to the side of me which I'm keeping any little odds and ends, I'm keeping in it. So basically it's a bits box of sprue bits. But yeah, I would have, if I could have, I'd make panels every day, just because obviously it takes a while for them to sort of, well, to make the sprue goo, then to make the panels, then for the panels to turn back into plastic. So yeah, I would like to get an abundance of panels, just so you always got some for builds, basically. Yeah, it doesn't look that doesn't look too bad there. It's all right. So, and again with the these gaps, obviously I had gaps down the side here. So that was one other thing I did do off camera, is I put a bit of sprue goo in the gaps, and then gave it a bit of light sanding. So I will do exactly the same with obviously all the new panels that I put on, where there's a bit of a gap, a little bit of sprue goo, let it harden, and so yeah, sprue goo is great for, well, it's like, it's plastic, so it can be sanded, drilled, or whatever really, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so yeah, I do have a box full of sprue bits. So I'd have, cause it's a shame to say, when I did the Tau Manta, I had loads of spare bits. Because I really thought I wasn't going to do any more sprue builds, I threw away the box of sprue bits. Which is a shame, because in there was like loads of tubes like this, also loads of very small thin wires. I don't know if you were here for my last live stream, but I mentioned how you can turn sprues into basically like thin wire. Everything you do with sprues is real simple, and making the thin wire is one of the simplest. But again, like anything else with sprue goo, sometimes it works really well and sometimes it doesn't. So to make the thin wire, all you get is one of those little tea candles, basically like the little little candle with a flame. Put this over the top, and as you got it over the top, you're trying to pull it apart. Obviously, as it heats up, it starts to pull, but you need to pull slow enough that it stretches, not too fast that it snaps, or not too slow that it burns and just melts through. But basically, you get it right, you start pulling this apart, you get a real thin, long piece of, well, it's like plastic. Again, if you look at some of my really old sprue builds, I've got lots of videos on sprues, lots of videos on how to make certain things with sprues, and one of them is this thin wire. And it's got this thin wire you can use to make like little thin aerials. You can get the wire, wrap it around a tube, and then you can make like barbed wire from it. So it's really good to make. So it's going to be used. Obviously, the back of the engines here have loads of wires, and that's how I'm going to make those wires. But again, this bits box of sprue bits I had loads of these wires in. So I had loads of all sorts, but say I kind of threw it away, thinking I would never be using it again, which obviously is a bit of a shame now looking back, because I enjoy making things out of everything. The intake for the engine turned out pretty well. Yeah, KD, this one, again, the first one I made from that the mix of the brown and green sprues. This one, when I first took it out, it looked fine, but then that nozzle, obviously the nozzly bit, it just sunk, like when you make a sponge cake and it all goes wrong, or it looks really good, you get it out of the oven and it just deflates, and that's exactly what happened to the nozzle on this. Some of the other inside bits didn't come out all that well anyway, but yeah, no, this one's come out, well, it's come out a treat, it really has. So yeah, I just need to make 2 more, but again, I've got no sprues, but I will have in the next week or 2, which is cool. Brett, do you have any suggestions for thinning the sprue goo? No. I have been told there's something you can use rather than acetone, and it will melt the sprues even more, but it's more of an industrial chemical, and not something you would use for sort of general use. I can't remember what it was called, because again, this is going back. So my last sprue build I finished, I think, was it December, maybe January of this year. So it's been at least 8 months since I've built anything with sprues. And again, having a memory like a sieve, I kind of forget things real easy. But yeah, someone did mention what this stuff was. So I'm not even sure you could actually buy it unless you were some sort of company that would deal in whatever it was. But no, with this, I haven't even got any sprue goo I can show you, because I've got none left. But yeah, literally, when you make the sprue goo, the jar, acetone, sprues, 7-8 hours, it goes into a consistency. It doesn't get any thinner. So it wouldn't matter if you left it for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 years, it wouldn't get any thinner. Well, in my case, from what I've done with it, it doesn't get any thinner than it does after 7-8 hours. It gets to a certain consistency, and then that's it. It stays at that. Which, say, for most of the things I use it for, is fine. Obviously, if it did go thinner, then it would be better for these kind of moulds that are a little bit more intricate, where it has to get in there and get underneath the old like nooks and crannies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely having a thinner sprue goo would work better there. But yeah, I can't remember what the stuff is, and I know the guy who mentioned it did say it's not one that you'd want to use, well, not in your house anyway. So can you remelt the mistakes? Yes and no. You can, as in if I was to put that back in acetone, it would melt. But when you then get it out of the acetone, if you try to roll it out, it would almost be a bit like porridge, where it would be, some bits would be lovely and smooth and sort of soft, and other bits would be lumpy. So it never quite turns back into a good sprue. So yeah, any panels that come out, so I've got some up here that, well, dog's dinner. So this I can't really use. So this, if I put it back in the acetone, it would melt, but it wouldn't melt in the nice consistency. It would be a bit lumpy, and pretty useless. Well, useless at making panels, but if you were like making rubble, or I don't know, anything that didn't need to be smooth, then yeah, it'd be perfect. But yeah, generally I never do remelt the stuff, just because it's not as good as the first time, which is kind of a shame really, because if it did, it'd be great, because then all these like little offcuts, these would all go back in the acetone, and yeah, it'd be used all the time. Whereas say these bits are going to get thrown away. Any bits that are obviously a bit bigger than those bits, like some of these bits, I've kept, just because that might fit, well, almost does, almost fits at the top. Also, it might fit at the back there. So yeah, so some bits I keep. Again, I've got a sprue bits box. I mean, I've got bits box is for all sorts, just because, well, I'm a little bit of a hoarder. I think I'm like most chaps. You don't want to throw stuff away because you might need it one day, and then like 2 years down the line, you still got the box and you think, well, I might need it, or it's even worse thing, because then you think, oh, if I throw it now, I'm going to need it tomorrow. So you keep things for another couple of years, and then when you do a house move, you think, yeah, I'm going to bin it, and then you need it. But yeah, so long story short, you can recycle it, but I don't, just because it doesn't come out very well. Radio, I think I'm going to do the bigger panels. So I'm going to do the front and maybe a little bit of the side, maybe a little bit of the wing. Although that bit would fit quite well on the wing actually. Yeah, that bit's better. Yeah, because I haven't got enough to do all of it. What I'm thinking is if I get sort of almost one side done, at least then when I take a photo of it for the screenshot for the next live stream, it will look quite good because one side's done, even though the other side's still framework. But, yeah. Box Fox, maybe if you chop the panels up real small. What you're referring to, chopping these up small and then putting them back in the sprue goo into the acetone. Yeah, you could have a go, but I've just found that this stuff doesn't remelt or dissolve like it does the first time. Yeah, I can't say melt because you get told off. So I used to always say, oh yeah, the acetone melts the sprues, but then I kept getting told off by chemists with PhDs saying that it doesn't melt, it dissolves. But then I always thought if something dissolved, it dissolved into nothing. But what do I know? I haven't got a PhD in chemistry. Oh, saying that, there's an extra round bit that goes on there. I wonder if oh, that's just going to snap. And that's the only problem as well with this stuff. When I put it through the mangler to make the panels flatter, I have found that because they're more compressed, they are more brittle. Whereas when you get a panel, oh, I've got one up here. Oh, I can't reach. Oh. Oh no, I'll put this one through. Yeah, but when you get the panel that you haven't put through the mangler to get real thin, they seem to have a bit more flexibility. But yeah, once they've been put through the old mangler, they do become a bit brittle. It's still okay. Well, not if you want to bend it around something it isn't. Right. Have you guys all hit the thumbs up button? That's the question. Let's have a quick look, see how many thumbs up we've got. 42 thumbs up, 42 people watching. I'm thinking some of you haven't hit the thumbs up because people have probably joined and then gone. If you can, guys, hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out so much. It doesn't cost you anything. But yeah, it helps me out because YouTube loves it. And we all know I like to try and please YouTube sometimes. Not always. Just checking something. I'll be back in a second. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just having a little look. Cool. Yeah, I think that's not quite going to be. As I say, there's another extra little round bit that goes on the end. I wasn't sure how I was going to make that yet, but yeah, I think I'll leave that bit. So we'll just do front and side and the other side of that. So this can probably go for that. Appease the algorithm. Yes, that's it, Ken. Let's give it a bit of a straight cut. Then the good old technical way of doing it, hold it up, use a pen, mark around it. Who needs to use proper measurements here? YouTube corporate overlords. Well, I must admit, so the problem is I am quite a logical thinking guy, but YouTube's algorithms don't seem to always work on logic. So yeah, trying to work it out sometimes is just, well, you can't. But for someone like me, it's annoying because things normally have a reason why they do things. But yeah, YouTube, well, it makes up its own reasons. Around. Yeah, I suppose so. Right, yeah, that bit can go there. Oh, itchy nose. Again, apologies for keep rubbing my nose. I've got hay fever, and today it seems to have been, well, an itchy nose day. That's for sure. Conscript, do you just use sprues, or have I used unwanted donated plastic models? Yeah, no, it's yeah, sprues is what I've always used. But say, because I have got some of the WizKids frameworks sprues, I'm going to be making stuff out of them as well. Obviously, I have recently made those floor tiles out of the WizKids sprues, and I'm thinking about using the WizKids sprues to make a dragon. Just to show that obviously, as well as making flat panels and things, using the sprue goo to make creatures, animals is even better, because obviously sometimes when you roll out the sprue goo to make panels, you get a real rough texture, which for a flat sprue panel is the last thing you want. But if you're making a creature and it comes out with, it's almost like an elephant's skin to it, which would obviously look really, really good if you're making a dragon or, well, a creature of some kind. Oh, pardon me. So yes, I'm going to be turning some WizKids framework sprues into some things as well. So I really want to try and vary what I do on the channel, because I know I do get very fixated with one sort of kind of build or topic, which I need to stop doing, but I do find that difficult. Right, so I've only got a few panels left, so I need to try and work out where's best to use the ones I've got. So this is one that I was saying earlier about the fact that it cracked. This was a panel that I rolled out and then I left for about 2 days, 2 maybe 3 days, and then when I put it through the old mangler thing, it really did crack and go brittle. I mean, where it's not cracked, it's nice and smooth, but I mean, I don't know how well you can see this on the old camera. There's quite a lot of like cracks going across it. But again, the thing is, if I got some sandpaper, I could probably sand that and you'd barely see the cracks. Especially if I sanded it and then put a little bit of sprue goo in it to fill it, let that dry, and then sand that down, and then yeah, you probably wouldn't even see all the cracks that are there. But yeah, so I'm probably going to use that for parts of it. Don't know where yet, but yeah. Renovin, it looks like you're paneling the Hawk in skin. Yeah, it's weird because it is flat and smooth, but when I put this through that mangler thing, it changes. Obviously, it makes it look white and speckly, which is really weird. Because this is the first time I've ever done it, putting it through the that mangler, just because it makes it smoother. But it does make it look weird. So once this is painted, obviously it won't look like it's some sort of, well, I don't know, giraffe or, yeah, like I say, some sort of animal, some sort of creature. Fox, the Adeptus YouTubius, praise the Algonist. Yeah, easy for you to say. Right, where should we put this? I reckon up there looks good. Earpiece coming out. Right. We will do that. Again, good old proper measuring here. No messing. But so there is a fair chance I might 3D print a little orc and stick him at the top, and it'll be Crazy Dave. So I've got a few builds coming up, making vehicles and stuff that I might well convert everything I do into an orc build, or not convert it into one, but have it driven by an orc, and obviously it'd always be Crazy Dave. Right, so there. I say I do love the fact you can just cut this with a pair of scissors. Makes things so much easier. Nurgle Flesh Hawk. Yeah, I mean it is kind of like it's alive. Yeah. Right. Oh, I think I rubbed off one of my lines. I can only see one line. Right. I think that was that way around. Oh, maybe not. Yes, I found that this pen, it's a permanent marker, but it's not permanent because I've used it to draw on something, and well, it just came off. So yeah, it's not as permanent as it says. Bosh. Hi Manna, how are you today? Did you have fun dancing the night away the other night? Are you recovered? Or are you still out partying? Plump Chicken, like your name. Is this an Orc Thunderhawk? A Thunderhawk or Imperial? Yeah, it's say I think everything I build, it's like I have got a build coming up which is going to be kind of Star Wars orientated, but I'm going to have an orc in it, just because, well, as you know, I love orcs, and I've not messed about or done things with orcs for quite some time, and yeah, I think I need to almost try and sneak in an orc. I was saying I think I did that once, didn't I? With was it the Lonely Orc? Again, so this would be for people who know my channel for quite a while. One of my very first figures that I ever painted was an orc, funny enough, and I called him the Lonely Orc because he didn't have any mates. I always kept him on my desk because I kind of used him as a reference for height. So whenever I made a diorama or like a crashed space vehicle or anything, I would use him as the gauge to work out the heights of things. So yes, I called him the Lonely Orc because he was always on my desk. And I've forgotten where I'm going with this story. Oh, that was it. In quite a lot of the videos, I used to have him in every video. He wasn't in the build, but he would be like in the background on my desk somewhere. Just so I went for a stage of every video, he was in it. But then I kind of went on to Crazy Dave, just because Crazy Dave was an orc in a seated position. So any vehicle I made, whether it was like kit bashed or scratch bashed, Crazy Dave would be the test pilot. And that's obviously why he was called Crazy Dave. But unfortunately, I need to have another look, but I think I've lost both Crazy Dave and the Lonely Orc, because I recently moved. And yeah, obviously I've got all my D&D figures, but my orc stuff and anything related with Warhammer was separate, and I can't find, well, I can find some of the stuff because obviously I've got me my bits box for kit bashing, and that's got all the Warhammer stuff. But yeah, I'm not too sure what happened to Crazy Dave or the Lonely Orc. I need to have another look for them. But, Robert, how's the build going? Yeah, the build's going well. I put a few bits on. In fact, I've probably put more on tonight already than I normally put on throughout the whole 3-hour stream. But I'm saying tonight's stream might not be very long, because once I get all the bits on that I've done, that's it. I can't go any further because I've literally got no sprues. I've got no sprue goo left, and this is all the sprues I currently own in the world. So I've got the WizKids Frameworks sprues, but because obviously I want this build to purely be Warhammer, so I'm not going to use any of the WizKids stuff, even though it will still turn into sprue goo the same. I'll know it's not Warhammer. So yeah, so I'm going to put the panels on that I can, and then it'll be a case of leaving this until the sprues turn up. So I've got quite a lot of sprues turning up, which is really nice. There's at least 7 people sending me sprues. I think 5 are from America, so 1 I think was Netherlands, and there is someone in the UK. So I should get them in the next week or 2 maybe. So yeah, so then I'll be able to carry on and get this finished. Mana all recovered now. Not really the dancing type. 2 left feet. Yeah, same. I can't dance. That's why my favourite dance, or the only dance I get up to or get down, oops upside your head. I can sit on the floor and slap my hand left and right and shimmy backwards and forwards. But that's it. Yeah. So oops upside your head. I'll get up to and dance all the time. Anything else, I'm definitely your daddy dancer. My feet might go to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, and then that's the lot. Man has just finished putting your little one to bed. Oh, how little's little? Katie, that's fun. Sort of like an Easter egg. It was, yes, Katie, exactly that. It was a case of he's in one of the shots. He wasn't in every shot. But yeah, if you look through some of my older videos, in the background somewhere, you'll see the Lonely Orc. Or if not, I was holding him up against something. But yeah, the Lonely Orc was in a lot of my videos. Apologies again, itchy nose. Ed Scar, hello buddy, how are you? Been a while, but obviously it's been a while since I've done this kind of thing. You're making a whole bunch of sprue terrain. Awesome. You're nearly out as well. I would say it was so weird when I was doing that Town Manta. I know I've said it before in previous ones. When I was doing the Town Manta, I had about 12 boxes. We're talking big boxes of sprues. I had a stupid amount and nowhere to really store them, which is why I kind of built the Town Manta to use up loads. And then yeah, and so now I've got none. And I would send you some of mine, but you taught me how to reuse them. She's 8 going on 18. Oh bless. Well, no, that's the thing that I'm. It's really weird because I obviously I stopped doing sprue builds back in January of this year. But since I stopped, there's so many channels that are making stuff out of sprues, and it's just awesome to see them being used, well, left, right, and centre. Some people obviously making frameworks with them, some making panels with them, and some just using the ooey gooey sprue stuff to make, well, scatter terrain and odds and ends and bits and pieces. So yeah, it's good to see it's kind of well and truly taken on. Smoint, how you doing, buddy? Hope you are well. Yeah, she has a point, you know. Well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather you guys use them. And it's funny because most of the people that have messaged me to send me them are people that have had sprues for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They've all said they love watching the sprue videos. It gives them a lot of ideas to make things with them, but they haven't got the time, which I fully understand, and which is why I always say it. When you make things with sprues, there's a lot of other items that you could use that'll be a whole lot quicker, a whole lot easier. So it's not, you don't make things with sprues because it's quicker. It's cheaper because obviously everyone's got loads of sprues, well, most people have. So it's quicker, but it's definitely more time consuming. But if you do this like a hobby, like obviously I do, then the time has never been an issue. For me, things take as long as they take. Obviously that's the reason why I do live streams. If I wanted to build things to make them quicker, I'd never do live streams, because obviously on a live stream it takes me a lot longer, as in a whole lot longer, to make anything by doing it on a live stream than it would if I did it off camera. But yeah, making things, it's not about the time, it's about, well, about having fun and trying out new things, trying out new materials. And obviously in my case, when it comes to the sprues, seeing what is possible with sprues. And I'm going to get it out because I've not got it out before, or not got it out for a while. I'm not being rude. I'm talking about this. Obviously, my favourite build to date out of sprues. You must have come across because my screen just froze then. Yeah, this sprue burger. So anyone who hasn't seen it, if I ever ask, or if anyone ever asks me what's my favourite thing I've ever built out of sprues or anything, it's always this. Just because it's so random, it's so bizarre, but I love it because it's obviously, it's a rather nice, big, meaty sprue burger, which I am, and I say this every time, I am going to be making fries for it eventually, as well as a big milkshake. So yeah, so this is all a sprue. There's nothing on here that's not sprue, other than glue and paint. But like what I've just built, this, it's hollow inside. It was made with a frame. There's a video of how I'd made this. Go and watch the video, guys, if you haven't seen it before. Made a frame and then covered it in sprue goo. So yeah, all things sprue goo. These bits are obviously, well, I've got none left, but obviously the nibbly knobbly bits, the little round bits on top of the sprues. Obviously cut them off. That's what all these little bun whatsits are. But yeah, I've had this, what, 1.5, 2 years. And I say it's one of my favourite things I've ever built, and I was really pleased with how I painted it as well. As in, like, the brown, it sort of graduates down to a lighter brown, which I know it doesn't sound very exciting to a lot of people, but to me who can't paint, or especially when I did this, my painting skills were abysmal. Even now I'm only just sort of, well, I wouldn't say decent, but I'm acceptable. There we go, acceptable painter. Oh, it's starting to bubble up. Yes, this is quite old, but yeah, my favourite thing I've ever built, sprue burger, the one and only. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to a bit of this. Yeah. We'll see what I can cover. So I really haven't got much left. Have I got anything to go? So I can't. I could do that in 2 bits, I guess. Well, I've quite like the idea of doing the bottom bit. And that is a small bit. Yeah, that'll do. Right. I missed anything while I was waffling on about my burger. Who's saying stop waffling on? Hold on, let's scroll back up. I've missed a bit. All I can see is it says stop waffling on. Who said that? Small. Okay, Small's just been at the beach. Oh, I've missed quite a bit. I'm going to keep scrolling because I seem to have missed quite a lot. Edgar, do I still have all my sprue builds? Do you give them away or sell them, or do you have a cupboard full of? Yeah, my kids have some of the builds that I've done, which is kind of weird. I don't play with them; they just got them sitting in their bedrooms. The only things I've actually sold was obviously the Town Manta was sold, the Orc Stomper was sold. So I've still got a few of the bigger sprue builds. I've still got the Orc Truck. I've still got the TIE Fighter. Obviously the Sprue Burger, which I would never sell because that's my favourite thing. There was loads of small little things I made with sprues. Some of them I've got, some of them I've binned. This, I might put this on eBay. I don't know. I mean, I'm never going to use it. I've built this to the same scale as the 97 one. So if you wanted to use this in a tournament, I'm sure you could, because obviously it's, well, it's made by GW stuff. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's have a look. Telmac, 2 questions. Do I know the Zorb Games YouTube channel? Yes, I was watching that earlier because he did a live stream. Was it 2 nights ago. So I was watching that earlier. Again, yeah, 'cause I like watching YouTube when I'm building stuff, which is kind of what I know a lot of you guys are doing. And would I consider making either a Gondorian house or a section of the minis? Yeah, see the thing with old Zorbazorb, he makes large miniature things. You can't quite see it, but my desk is my area to build on. And if you've seen some of my other videos, like the one with the Town Manta, you'll see that with the Town Manta I had to make it in sections because I couldn't fit it all on my desk until right at the end where I glued the 3 bits together. But then I had to take all my paints and boxes and everything off my desk to even put it on my desk. So for me, I need to build miniature things that fit on my desk, which is why I was experimenting in a few videos ago about making things at 15mm scale rather than the 38mm, whatever it is. So yeah, so making miniatures small, just so I can make bigger things that still fit on my desk, basically. Right, so apologies if I'm now responding to things you said 5 minutes ago. Obviously I was waffling on about my burger because I couldn't help it. Why is it not scrolling? Oh, now my mouse is frozen. Right, give me a second. Good old technical errors with my mouse. It all going a bit slow. Yeah, Smoin, yeah, beach, perfect. Mana, I've been using Sprue to help magnetize your Wraith Knight. Cool. Yeah, because the Sprue goo is, well, it's glue. A glue that's a filler, which is kind of cool. Telmac, I would love to know that a section of the community project was made out of sprues. To know that a section of the community project was made out of sprues. Oh, I see, from that thing you mentioned earlier. Yeah, again, say I'd need to make small things. Esgar, I still have the 3D print files. I sent you all the purple stuff with ABS. I would say I haven't. Yeah, it's like there was a point where I had so many boxes of all sorts and no room, which is a shame because obviously now I've moved to a 2-bedroom flat and I do have a lot more room, which is probably the other reason why I'm kind of getting back into sprue builds, just because then people can send me sprues and I'll have room to accept them. Box Fox. Oh, that's where you said about the waffling on. I know, because I won't stop waffling. Yeah, but you guys love it. Things like if I don't waffle, you guys would moan. You know it. Smoynes, yeah, you got to love a nice purple. Oh yeah. Dark Souls, a cruel thing to show someone who hasn't eaten today. Yeah, you wouldn't want to eat that. That would take your teeth straight out. Man, you glad I didn't throw the manta out the window? I was so tempted. I really would have liked to thrown it out just to film it hit the deck, because I honestly don't think it would have broke. It was. I stood on it. I could stand on the thing. Yeah. Avalon, am I going to do a D&D Dragon after this? It's hard to say, because at the moment, well, at any given moment, I generally have 3 or 4 projects on the go. Just because, especially something like this sprue thing, when I'm building part of this, or say I'm making some sprue goo, or I roll out some panels, I can't do anything for a few days. So that's why I like to have other projects. So I'm always working on something, because then when something's like drying, or I've just painted it and needs to dry for the painting, or whatever reason I can't do anything to it, or if I'm 3D printing something and it's going to take 3 hours to print something. So that's why I'm always working on something. So the idea about making a dragon from the WizKid sprues at the moment is just an idea. When I've completed 1 or 2 of these other projects, then I may well start it. Because like I said, I'd get a different jar of acetone to melt them in, just because I'd want the D&D Dragon to be made purely from D&D WizKids. And I know it's one of these things where I could lie and use any sprues, but in my mind I would know it wasn't D&D ones. Not that it makes any odds, but I just want D&D sprues to make D&D stuff, and Warhammer sprues to make Warhammer stuff. I'm a simple man, simple needs, simple wants. Man, it's a lovely burger. It is. I love that burger. And I say I do need to make the fries to go with it. Yeah, the size thing makes sense. Yeah, it's purely, obviously there's a lot of guys on YouTube that have like a workspace or a shed at the end of the garage or a proper sort of office or whatever. If I had somewhere that was bigger, then yeah, I would love to make bigger things. Because I'm very good at DIY. I'm good at turning my hand to anything, making things out of wood, plastic, metal, all that kind of stuff. If I've got the tools, I can make anything. But I don't have the room to have the tools to make anything. But yeah, now if I had enough money to make to get a studio, then yeah, I would make some big stuff. But that's kind of why I'm thinking about making, say, miniature stuff on a smaller scale, so I can make like a big castle and a big grounds, but everything's just miniature, even more miniature. Rick, all right, Rick, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's coming along. I was going great guns earlier, but now I started talking and waffling, so it's slowed down. It's slowed down for a bit. Edgar, vote for the Sprue Dragon to come soon. Well, I say I've got this. I've got 4 things on the go. So this thing is probably going to get put on a little bit of a back burner while I wait for some sprues to come in. So there could be a good week where I don't work on this. I've got this sort of Warhammer Star Warsy thing that I'm kind of doing as well. But that I'm hoping to get out this coming Friday. So there's a fair chance I would start on the dragon kind of thing, maybe this weekend, if not early next week. But even then it'd be a case of getting all the sprues, cutting them up, putting them in the acetone. I mean, trying to find some nice pictures of a dragon that I'd want to copy. Because even with the dragon, I would want to have some sort of reference pictures, just because I like, even though I might change it as I go along, I like to have a good reference just as a guide to how I start. Because even with the dragon, it would have a frame, even if it was like a matchstick frame. So as in just like a couple of sprues glued together to go up the back, and then a couple come out for legs, a couple come out for wings, all that kind of stuff. Just so there was some sort of framework to gauge all the size and to basically give it some sort of structure. because obviously the ooey gooey Sprue stuff, you put that over it, it basically just sinks and sags and whatever, and obviously it'll take a few days for it to go hard. So yes, I will be starting a dragon fairly soon. Again, long story short, yes, dragon starting soon. Well, I think I've caught up. That was quite quick. Katie's got a backlog of stuff. Well, yeah, because obviously I'm now getting into the routine of doing at least one video a week, if not possibly two. So I need to have lots of ideas in my head of what I want to do. Like some of the videos will be like longer, some shorter, because a lot of things. It's funny, I was watching a video earlier about a different style of painting, and I've forgotten what it's called already. What was it called? Oh man, so this is where my memory is so pants. Yeah, there's a type of painting. What's it called? Basically, you paint whatever it is, the miniature black. You dry brush grey, then you dry brush white, and then you use contrast paints or speed paints. It's a very quick, very simple way of painting, but because you do obviously prime it black, and then do the dry brushing in grey, and then an even lighter dry brushing in white, it just adds a lot of like the highlights and that, but underneath. You guys probably know what it's called. Is it not splodge or splash, or it's two words? Slap chop. That's the fella. Yes. Cheers, Ed. Slap chop. Never heard of it before, but like you guys, I scroll through YouTube just looking up random stuff to do with, well, this hobby, and yeah, slap chop, and it just looked really cool. And because I've got a ton of speed paints, so yes, I will be trying that. Rick, oh here we go, Rick and his jokes. A dragon, eh? Time to scale it up. I hope you get paid lots in your main job, because you wouldn't earn in that kind of job either. Anyway, yes, yes, it's not, yeah, not Zenithal highlights. It's, yeah, slap chop. It's yeah, it's really cool. Anyway, oh, itch nose. Drink Pepsi and then put another panel on, I think. But yeah, these panels do look like it's some sort of animal. That is quite weird. But hey ho. Alright, yeah, I don't want to do the front of this because this bit has, say, this the ball with the gun. Just too short to go along that bit. What about that one? A bit rough, bit rough. That one's not too bad. There we go. We'll have a go at this. Oh, plus I've also, I forgot what the adventure's called. No, I won't show you the other thing I'm doing because I forgot what the guy's called that I'm doing it for, so I'll leave that. Anyway. Yeah. Alright. Let's hold up. Oh, I think I'm actually film myself gluing this next bit, just because I've not filmed gluing any bits on for a while. So it might be worth doing. Cool. Yeah, so going back to the dragon then, you guys seem quite interested in the dragon. Is there a specific dragon you'd like to see me make? So I'm probably going to make it, I want to make it a reasonable size, so I want to make it for obviously D&D figures. So I'd want to make it obviously to scale with him, but I wouldn't want to make it like massive. But oh, my finger's probably just off the screen. But yeah, maybe up there, fair size. Or maybe just make my own kind of weird looking one. Make it a short, fat, chunky one, a bit like myself. Right. The classic European dragon. Okie dokie. Oh, as opposed to like the Oriental sort of style. So the European ones, aren't they? The short, fat, chunky ones. I suppose fire breathing is out of the question. Who, me? The dragon? You? Have I missed something? Possibly. Monster Hunter-esque. Yeah, so I haven't even really looked up dragons. I'd kind of want one. Yeah, it is scary, but I think I do like the idea of one that looks like it's eaten a lot of people. Definitely a TPK dragon, as opposed to your skinny one. Or yeah, maybe even go really silly and make it a huge big fat one with wings that are so small and yet it can fly, just to make it look really wacky and weird. There's various lore about dragons, a lot from where mythology comes from. Central American dragons, African dragons. Yeah, or like I say, yeah, Ed, there's a whole sort of variety. Yeah, for some reason I'm now really thinking of a really, really fat dragon just sitting on a pile of gold. So yeah, one that's never really flown. Yeah, it just sits there, waits for people to come along to nick its gold, and then eats them. And mother-in-law dragons. Yeah, I don't know how well that'd go down. Rightio. So this is where it's worth keeping these kind of bits, because that might just... Oh no, not quite. Not for that bit, but that might have almost been enough to have done that very sliver. No, that's not. Right, let's cut this up and see if this is any good. Podge, I'm here. So we've had all three miniature hobbyists have popped on to my stream, which is pretty awesome. I haven't paid them to do it. I did ask them if they'd pop on. So yeah, so guys, if you want to say hello to Podge Panda, by all means say hello Podge Panda, or just say hello Podge or hello Panda. I don't mind. So a green one. No, I did not get TPK'd in Lost Minds of and you're not still mad about it. Well, that's good to know that you didn't get TPK'd and you're not upset. Box Fox, mother-in-law dragon. Now you're scared. The smog from the animated Hobbit is probably fat enough. Yeah, no, I'm thinking one so fat that it wouldn't matter what size wings it had, it wouldn't take off. It really is one that likes to, yeah, it's eating its fair share. Yes, so whenever you say who's eating all the pies, well, you could just say who's eating all the adventurers, and then you look at that dragon and go, oh yeah, that one. Right, that looks like that'll be okay. Again, good old eyeballing. Can't go wrong with a bit of eyeballing. Yeah, that'll do. So again, anyone who might have missed what I said earlier, a lot of these things, when I do put them together, if there are any gaps, cracks, this is obviously what the ooey gooey sprue stuff is awesome for, is filling in gaps. There was a gap here and a gap there. Well, there's gaps all over this bit. Yeah, filled them in, light bit of sanding, and it's as smooth as, well, there's something that's scaly. No, it's quite smooth actually, not bad at all. So yes, a lot of these bits that I'm putting on, if there are gaps in between, that's fine, because they will just be filled in basically. Yeah, I must admit, the more I'm talking about the dragon, and the more, well, you guys seem quite excited to see a dragon, the more I might, yeah, because I haven't got any stops and kicked me out, and I'm just trying to get things back. Because if I can, I was going to go for about another half hour or so. But it all depends.
I went on it to watch you. I was like 10 minutes later, or 10. I was very late. I'll say that because I could hear you talking and then.
Oh yeah. Whenever I talk, it's about 10-15 seconds later. The internet gets it.
Felt way longer than that.
Oh, you're all saying it's back, but unfortunately I can't see. Oh, I don't know. Oh, you can hear me chatting to my little boy. Although unfortunately nothing's coming up on my screen, so I can't see what you guys can see. I'm not too sure why. Yeah, it kind of makes it a bit difficult for me because I can't see anything. So I can't see any chat. Right, if you can bear with me a second, because obviously I've kind of got several monitors on the go, and it's a monitor that's right in front of me that for some reason it's saying it can't connect. So let's shut that down, and let's try again. No, I'm all right. Cheers, buddy. You're good. Thank you though. So what I might have to do is look to a different screen, because as I say, at the moment I'm not getting anything. Right, because I haven't even got any screens up that are showing YouTube. Right. So I'm not even sure. Am I still on the same stream as I was before, or is this a new stream? Right, so we'll have a go at this, but say the problem I've got is normally I can see the screen, so I can see what you see. Currently that screen isn't showing anything, so I've got to look right over here to see a screen that I can see myself on, but obviously it's then showing me 15 seconds later than when I've said whatever it is I'm saying, which is then even more confusing in my ear, because I'm hearing myself in quite a delay, as well as seeing myself in a delay. But yes, I'm not too sure what happened there. Well, other than my PC lost internet, but my son is literally about 15-20 feet away from me, and he said his internet was working fine. So yeah, bear with me just a second, guys, because otherwise it makes it very difficult. I mean, it's weird streaming anyway, but I'm sitting here looking into a webcam talking to people, even though I'm talking to myself. But the fact that I can't see what you see then makes it difficult when I'm moving things on my desk, because then I'm thinking, can you see what I'm pointing at, or am I pointing at something that's off the screen? But so the problem is I'm now hearing myself in the past, and it's I think I've got a weird voice anyway, so let alone hearing myself talk about something that I talked about. Yeah, I don't know why this. Do the usual, turn something off and then on again. It's that, or you hit it. It's right. That's probably why it's connected to a different Wi-Fi. Right, stop connecting to that one. Yeah, because unfortunately, when I moved into this flat, my neighbour below me nice chap, he let me use his internet while I was waiting for mine to be installed. And I think the device that I'm obviously normally watching stuff on, and saying that, yeah, where's my streaming software then? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's normally on my little iPad. I think my iPad's connecting to a different Wi-Fi, which is why it's then not connecting to my other screens. So again, I can't see any chat, guys, so apologies if I'm obviously not responding to anything. It's because I currently can't see anything. I'm just trying to change the Wi-Fi settings on my iPad, just so it will talk to my other screen. So it's great. Like anyway, technology is wonderful, but when it doesn't work, it can be a pain in the butt. And so at the moment, it's, oh, there we go, it's connected now. Let's just see. But say yes, I've got my normal 2 screens, and then I've got a third little screen, which is the one that I obviously can see myself on, as well as obviously all the chat. Just because obviously it's nicer looking towards you and reading the chat, other than turning my head all the way over there to read the chat. Right, it's connected there. Let's see, will this link up? There we go, now it's connecting. He says, right. Oh, no, I think I've lost it again. Where's... Oh, it's there. So yeah, live streaming, so easy. Right, I can now see what you guys can see. I just need a chat box, which is, oh, it's over there. It's like 3 screens. Where's my chat box? Right, we are nearly there. The thing is though, we're nearly there. I think I only got about another half hour or so in me to go. Right, why can't I see new chat? Oh, let's close that because the chat box has stopped where it cut out. Right, I'll get there in a minute. So now, is there still people watching? We'll drag that all the way across, over to there, and oh, there's the only problem about having the windows open. Lights are on, flies coming in. You was wondering if I was still waffling on about Dragon still. Yeah, I say all my screens didn't go dark, but I could tell something wasn't working. The YouTube, yeah, it wasn't the YouTube controller. I say it's literally, I've got some software on my iPad, which lets my iPad link to my PC in such a way that it becomes another monitor, which is really cool. Because obviously I've got the 2 monitors here, and obviously you get your little mouse and it can flick between the 2 monitors, lovely. But you can also turn your iPad into a monitor, obviously a Wi-Fi monitor. So when you move your mouse, it goes across them 2, and then it whizzes across onto your iPad, which is awesome. But my iPad wasn't connecting to the internet, and then when it did connect to the internet, it was connecting to a different internet, which is why it then couldn't see my screens. Yeah, simple stuff really. Still here, that's good to hear, Dark Soul 909. I'm glad some people are still here. Grim Guardsman, back doing 40k stuff. I'm going to do 1 Warhammer build a month. As in a Sprue Warhammer build. There might be other stuff, I'm not too sure. A lot of my content will still be D&D. Or I'm going to try and do content that's more generic. So it can be used for D&D, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, any of those other sort of Games Workshop game, or any tabletop game is kind of where I want to get to. Because obviously I've printed off so much D&D stuff that I've got lots of D&D stuff, which is kind of what I wanted. But it also means now that I don't need to print off as much D&D stuff. So yeah. yeah, so I'm glad some of you guys are still stuck in and waited. It's like, so I'm not even sure, is this stream still a continuation of my stream, or is this now a completely new stream? I say, because I've got it kind of set up that I don't actually watch, obviously, YouTube while I'm streaming, so I really couldn't see what you guys could see. So I use Streamlabs to stream, and that's what I've got on my little iPad. So again, so I can see things in real time. So if I watch YouTube, again, that's where it gets complicated, because I'll be watching something with a big delay in sound and obviously video. But using my Streamlabs on my iPad, I can see myself as I'm doing things, which makes things so much easier, because obviously then I can make sure you guys can see what I'm talking about and pointing at. It's continuing. Cheers, Box Fox. That's good to know. Right, so yeah, I'm not sure if there was any questions I was answering. I know I was waffling on. I think the last thing I was talking about, I was pointing over there because I think I looked and I could see a picture of me frozen. I think I was doing some weird face. But basically what I was saying, I think, was that I'm going to get all my WizKid sprues, turn them into ooey gooey sprue stuff, just so I can see how much I've got, because then that them kind of almost dictate how big a dragon I make, and whether I go for a really scary looking dragon, or I go for more of your Puff the Magic dragon. All I know is I want to make a dragon out of the WizKid sprues. There we go. Ido Bitsu, hello, thank you for the really cool work. I'm using Sprue glue for a few months. Awesome. You've noticed several points. All go on and let me know, what's your points? Sprue glue tends to swell when drying. If by swell, do you mean, as in like if you make a panel, it can start to fold up on itself? If that's what you mean, that's obviously because the acetone is still drying. So even if you roll this out, make it nice and flat, leave books on it, which I've done for days and days and days, take the books off, sometimes the panels can still warp like that. But I have now cured that by what I'm doing with these panels, even though they look like weird panels, these are nice and flat panels, and that is by getting the panels, letting them dry for like the 7-8 hours, let them get to around about 10-12 hours ish, and then put them through one of these mangle thingies, the old pasta whatsits, to make them nice and thin, because it compacts the sprue, and that basically then gets rid of everything inside, makes them nice and solid, and these ones don't seem to curl, if that's what you mean by swelling. Do you mean it curling? Oh, nose. If you don't mean curving up, I'm not too sure what you mean by swelling. Do you literally mean it just sort of puffing out? I'm not sure. Is there a limit time to use when putting sprue in acetone? I think that the bubbles come from the evaporating. Yes, you're correct. The bubbles come from the acetone evaporating. It can leave little pocket holes, and again, that's why if you're making panels, putting them on one of these manglers flattens, compacts it. Again, I'm going to make a video on it, because in my last stream I showed the difference between the thickness of, say, this panel and how it started before I put it from my mangle, and it was almost twice as thick. So it's compacted down, it's got rid of any air bubbles, it's made obviously all these weird looking colours, but the thing is, again, I don't know how I can get this so you can sort of see just how flat it is, but this is flatter than I've ever had them before, even though it's got weird colours, but that doesn't matter because once it's sprayed you won't see that. But also if you leave it too long and then put it in a mangle like this one has, the first ones weren't, but this one has, it can crack because obviously it's then too dry, and when you put it through, yeah, it's squeezing it, compacting it and cracking it. But yeah, that's why I want to make a video on the fact that you can put it through the mangle, makes it ultra thin, ultra flat, but again, there's a certain time where it works really well. I tried it a few times. I did it once too early. I did it basically after 7-8 hours is when I normally take the panels out, and you can kind of use them to make things. I put one of these panels in that was 7-8 hours old into my mangle. Because it was still soft on the inside, some of it shot out to the sides, made a right old mess of my mangle. It took me a while to clean it up. But then this was left 2 days and it starts to crack because it's too dry. So somewhere between, or at least after, I reckon 12-14 hours, but somewhere between 14 hours and say 24 hours is the prime time to put it through the pasta just to flatten it. So any longer, too brittle. Any sooner, too ooey gooey. But again, I'm going to make a video on that. I just need some more sprues, just so I can have a little play about with times, just so I can sort of say, well, this seems to be the prime time, basically. But again, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about putting the sprues in acetone and how long you can leave it in there for, I think the longest I had sprues in acetone and used it was about 3-4 months. As long as the acetone is still above the sprue goo, then it's good. But if all the acetone's evaporated out of the jar, I mean, that's why I prefer to use, so I've run out of stuff. I prefer to use obviously glass jars with a nice metal lid, just because the contact then is airtight, so the acetone shouldn't evaporate. I mean, which is why I say I had mine for about good 4 months, and the ooey gooey stuff was still good to go. No bending, really swollen, bubbles appear. Yeah, like I say, yeah, it is a case of the acetone's trying to escape out. Yeah, I mean, again, because I haven't got many panels, I can't really show you what I do. But if after the 7-8 hours, if I see anything that is like bubbling up, like you say, push it down with my thumb, pop it, or get a tool, and yeah, you're popping it like it's a little boil, I guess. There you go. Ed gets acetone bubbles fairly often. If you come back to 12-24 hours, you can press them down. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's what I said. Press them down or manipulate them based on your build and get them to be smoother. Yeah, so if you push it down, it might leave a little bit of a little ridge, crater or whatever. But again, putting it through the old pasta machine, the mangler, as I'm calling it. Well, I think I called mine the other day. I called it the ooey gooey, no, sprue goo mangler is what I called mine. Patent pending. Yeah, put it through that, and because it's honestly to say this would have started off about twice as thick, but you put it through at different levels, so you get it thinner, comes out like this. So I am going to do a video on it just because, well, I've never had panels so thin, so flat, and say because these have been completely compacted, these shouldn't warp or bend, which is cool. It swells 25 to 30%. Blimey. You tried compacting using clamps. That seems to work. Yeah, I mean sometimes, because obviously I have the greaseproof paper, the acetone, greaseproof paper. I put a book on top. That sometimes helps, but also prolongs how long it takes for the acetone to evaporate. So again, sometimes if you're in a bit of a rush, then you don't do it. But if you're in no rush at all, then yeah, I'd put a book on it, and you could leave it like 5-6 days, and then it would probably come out flatter. Mano Rega is off. Lovely to see you. I hope you're well, and yeah, catch you in the next one. You know, thanks for the tips, sharing. Yeah, I'm always, again, that's why I like watching other people's videos when they do stuff with sprues, just in case they do something I've not thought of, or if I watch one of their videos and then I suddenly think, oh yeah, I could do something different to mine to make mine better. So yeah, I mean, again, that's this hobby. It's all about sharing. If you find something that works, share it. If you find, that's why I always sort of say that when I do things that don't work, I share them as well. Because obviously sometimes you're better off learning by mistakes, because then obviously then you know not to do it and I know not to do it again. Or you do a mistake and then you try and find a way to make it better. Which these panels are the flattest panels I've ever had, which is cool. Right, apart from the cracked ones, but even then, so using the cracked ones, I can just put a bit of sprue goo in it, sorted. Right, I'm going to do this. So I wouldn't mind getting this little bit here done, and then I'm probably going to finish. But as we all know, even just doing this little bit here could take me a good hour if I waffle on. What bit shall I do? Yeah, this top bit obviously going to be a couple of panels. Zach Cook, this hobby is 90% community and sharing. It is. It's a lovely hobby to have, because yeah, people are more than willing to share. And so it's like that new painting thing I'm going to have a go at doing that I've forgotten already, that Ed knows about. Yeah, no, I've forgotten. So this is how bad my memory is. Literally, I can forget things within minutes. It's crazy. It's annoying and crazy. Right. But yeah, so I think most of the stuff I actually look up is kind of like painting stuff, just because, well, I just want to improve my painting. Oh yeah, I was going to film me gluing a bit, wasn't I? Oh well. Kind of forgot about that. Never mind. You know, as a tip, I am using a cookie cutter with the wood panel on top and clamp it. When panel is dry, it makes nice bases. Oh, cool. Yeah. So that's the other thing I had considered doing, but it just cost money to get the stuff. And that was basically getting like 2 bits of wood, getting a couple of bolts, some of those butterfly or butterfly wing bolts, nuts, things that you can easily sort of twirl around. Getting the acetone in between, getting the sprue goo in between 2 sheets of greaseproof paper, putting it in between the flat board, tightening up these bolts, so you're squeezing the wood down, and then leaving it that way. But I haven't got the wood, I haven't got drill to drill holes in. Basically, I haven't got all the stuff to do it, and it'd just be like a lot of money to try something out that probably would work. But yeah, sometimes just not having the money to try stuff. But obviously, mentioning it, then hopefully someone else might try it and let me know just how it works. But again, the problem there is, I say the acetone, the more air that gets to it, the quicker it dries. So if you're doing something that doesn't allow air to get to it, wing nuts, cheers Dark Soul. Yeah, if you're doing something that doesn't allow air to get to it, then it just takes a whole lot longer. And I say sometimes it feels like it just takes forever waiting for the sprue stuff to dry anyway. Right, I just need to trim. This is only what you're doing with the clamps, and it works. Yeah, oh cool, yes, perfect. Well, that's it. It's like I couldn't see why it wouldn't work. It was just a case of how well it would work, and possibly how long it takes for it to dry. Trim a little bit of that off. Yeah, cool. Oh yes, any guys that are here that do use the Discord, I am going to be using it. I know, shocker, I've had it 2 years, and I think I've probably been on about a dozen times in 2 years. As I say, it's great because it's used so much, which is awesome. But I do find it a little overwhelming that there's so many channels within it. But if you go on Discord, there is a channel that says MH lives here. That's me. I'm MH. So yeah, so whenever I go on there, which is going to be at least once a week, if not more, that's the only channel that I'm going to go to. So if you've got any questions you'd like answering, or anything you want to share with me, or any of the competitions, for me to enter as well, then go onto that channel that says MH lives here, because that's the only channel I'm probably going to look at, just because there's so many there. But guys, yeah, if you're not on Discord, then go and have a look, because say honestly, it's used so much by loads of people, sharing stuff, and it's just pretty awesome. But say for me, it's just too much good stuff. If there ever could be such a thing. Right. Oh, I just realised there's no music in my ear. All of a sudden, it just sounded really quiet then. Obviously, it's because I wasn't talking, and because I've not got music in my ear, because my internet went down. Oh no, I'm all out of Pepsi. Oh, look at that. It's almost like it was made to measure. Oh, and the music comes back in. Cool. Right, let's cut this nice and square. As square as it's going to be without me actually measuring it anyway. It dries quickly. Okay, you open it every 4 to 5 hours to check and adjust. You thought about putting coins or other things to... Oh, have defined thickness, yes. Well, that's why I like the roller that I use. It's got like end caps on the roller, so you can roll out sprue goo to what size you want, which is obviously pretty cool. How soft overall is sprue goo? Wondering if using a pastry bag with a wide nozzle and cap would be a good way to store. Not sure. I say, because as soon as you take it out of the jar, I think literally as soon as you take it out of the jar, the very outside of the sprue goo is already drying and forming a skin. Might only be a very, 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 very small skin, but it still forms a skin. So if you then try to crumple that up into something, you would still have really good ooey gooey sprue stuff, but you'd have a thin layer that's a skin. That's why it's, yeah, as soon as you get it out of the jar, it's like you use it straight away. I'm not too sure what would happen if you put that in a pastry bag with a nozzle. Because obviously you'd need to make sure as well that the nozzle was airtight, or you could put something over it that was airtight. Because again, honestly, as soon as air hits it, it is drying. You know the rule, no drink and snacks, no stream. Well, I must admit, I didn't have any biscuits, but I made sure I had something to eat literally half hour before starting the stream. So I knew I was good to go on food, and I wouldn't get the old rumbly tumbly. But drink, yeah, I had a full drink, and it seems to have gone. I think it's evaporated. It will melt your bag. Maybe. So that's the weird thing that's always got me. The acetone that I buy has always come in plastic bottles, which obviously it hasn't melted, because obviously it is a certain type of plastic that it melts. So yes, it may or may not melt your bag. Right, yeah, that is. All right, let's film. Oh, pardon me. Let's film a little bit, just because I haven't filmed. Again, otherwise when I come to edit the video, it's going to skip from me putting a few panels on to there being a ton of panels on. Well, I think what I might actually do is zoom in a bit, just because it's nice to have a bit of close up. Right, how's that for focus? There we go, that'll do. Yeah, it does look like a pizza, doesn't it? Like a pizza topping. It is a real weird looking thing. Yeah, it's well weird. Yeah, the ship is definitely alive. Dark Soul, got to take a break from painting. Your wrist is seizing up. Box Fox is doing shots. Shots with your paint water. Okay, I'm not too sure what you mean by you're doing shots. You're drinking it. Maybe. Wouldn't advise it. Well, I was saying that I always suck my paintbrush. Quite a weird thing to do. Probably an even weirder thing to actually mention to people that you do. Right. It's definitely gonna be like a like Frankenstein's monster. This it's definitely gonna be patchwork of bits of this, bits of that. So especially with this stuff looking so alien-like. Right. Get the lid off that first. Yes, you're drinking them. Which colour has the best flavour? Thing is though, it is though. Lots of the paints don't have much of a taste, but then you get some, especially the washes. Oh, you lick the brush after the wash. And I keep thinking to myself, don't do it because it's not going to taste nice. Again, definitely technical measuring here. It is so untrue. But again, that's where Sprue goo comes in, because it doesn't have to be 100% neat doing this bit, because when I put the Sprue goo in all the gaps, a little bit of light sanding, job done. Or hopefully job done. Kelly, while your internet cut out, I managed to get a Sega Genesis emulator working on your computer. Okay. We certainly got more done than I did. Yeah. Well, just now anyway. Yeah, so I think tomorrow I might actually start looking at dragons, just to get an idea what kind of dragon floats my boat. So I'm definitely kind of thinking one that's sitting on a hoard of gold, just because I know that's the typical dragon, but that's what I like. I like a dragon to be a dragon sitting on its gold. This is a shame because I haven't got any Sprue goo left. Otherwise I would start filling in the gaps. Just so then come tomorrow I'd be able to like sand it down and it would look nice and neat. But I would just have to be patient and wait. Well, try to be anyway. Ooh, that might be close. Let's have a little cut along the top. All right. Quick dry. Love your channel, man. You're currently at work running a few HAAS CNC machines. Oh well, I know what CNC machines. I don't know what the HAS is. Obviously, maybe a type. And listening to the build videos. Awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool being at work and getting to do a bit of YouTubing. Very nice. I hope you're having a good day and it's going well. All right, let's just trim that top bit. That might just fit in. Cool. Yeah, that'll do. As I say, there's a good chance this will go on hold for a week. So yeah, so maybe in my next stream that I might do, obviously next week, I don't think I'm going to be able to get another stream done this week, just because of other sort of commitments and things. But yeah, if I do a stream next week, it may well be me starting to do well, a D&D, well, a dragon from the WizKids D&D Sprues, which would be quite cool. Yeah, so there's the main difference. Obviously, we're using the super glue to using the cement glue. Obviously, you do have to hold it quite a lot longer with the cement glue. But again, the good thing is, you know, your fingers aren't going to stick to it, which is cool. Yeah, guys, anyone that's sort of new that's popped on, or anyone that's been on a while but hasn't hit the thumbs up button, yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you could, guys. I say it's a simple thing to do, nice and easy, but it does help the channel out a lot with YouTube and how it sort of sees how people like or enjoy a video or live stream. So yeah, that'd be much appreciated, guys. So I think I'm going to do a few more little bits, so maybe another 10-15 minutes. So any questions, by all means, please ask. Let's say, I don't think I'll be doing another live stream this week, or if I do, it'll probably be an early morning one. So that one we're doing Friday. No. Oh yeah, maybe Thursday. Maybe Thursday morning I might do a live stream. Oh yeah, because the other thing is, talking about our WizKids. Obviously I've got lots of their frameworks figures, which are awesome. So obviously they're the sprues that I'm going to be using to make a dragon. But WizKids also sent me a surprise box. Turned up a few days ago, so I've done really well not opening it. Because when I say a surprise box, it literally is a surprise box. All I know is its contents are worth $400. I'm assuming most of it or all of it will be D&D related, although they do other sort of tabletop games and toys figures, so it might not all be D&D, but I might be doing a live stream of that, so I might do that Thursday actually. I probably would be Thursday morning, but then I probably would make a video of the contents of the box as well. But yeah, Thursday morning, I think live stream, me opening a surprise box worth $400. And yeah, I'm quite intrigued to see what's in there, because they kind of know the stuff I like, but I did say to them, if they're going to send me a box, it can be of anything. So we shall see. Andre, missed a lot of the stream, but do you have a reason for putting on the engines before the bits that go behind it? Yeah, I kind of put the tube bit on just because basically, again, I'm going over the whole thing, paneling everything. So obviously I want to panel the sides. I mean, because basically I did say earlier on what I might do. Obviously once all the paneling's done, it's all going to get sprue gooed, filled in, sanded, nice and smooth. I'm torn between, because obviously when you look at the actual vehicle, and I've looked at some better closer up pictures, because someone sent me a lot of pictures of the original one in metal, unpainted. Obviously it's kind of made up of lots of panels, as in the look of the ship is made up with lots of panels. So I was toying with the idea of cutting into the panels I've got, just so when I come to paint it and I do a wash, the wash can obviously go into the nooks and crannies. That was one idea. The only downside to that is trying to cut straight lines into this. They might go a bit wibbly wobbly. So my other plan was, obviously once this is all covered in panels and it's all made nice and clean and neat, it's then to still make some more panels that look like the shapes on here, stick them on, but then leave that little gap in between. This one's obviously going to take a lot longer to do because obviously it means me making a lot more, well, twice as many panels because I'm gluing panels on panels. But this way, when I put the panel up to the other panel, let's cut a bit of that off. I'm going to get two nice straight edges with a nice gap in between. So when I come to paint it, it will go in nice in the gaps. So that being said, that's the kind of thing with the engine, jet, thrusters, whatever you want to call them. These are going to be built up with more bits on them to make them look like the actual ones that are on the ship. So again, like this has obviously got these sort of cut out bits here. These bits I was going to stick on afterwards. So again, that's why I always say whenever I build something in my head, I break it down into small sections. First section of this, build the frame, job done. Second bit to this in my head, cover the whole thing in panels. Once it's covered in panels, then I can go over, add extra panels, all the details, all the little nibbly knobbly bits, everything else, guns, little signs, everything else. So that's why at the moment my main concern is getting this thing covered in panels and then going from there. I say I'm kind of torn between trying to cut into this to make it look like it's made up of panels, but I'm kind of thinking by doing that I won't get a very neat straight edge. I'm almost better off making a load more panels, putting them on top with the gaps in between, which is kind of what I'm thinking I will do, just because I know I'll make a neater job of it. Does that answer your question? I know I've probably gone round the houses, waffled on, said far too much, but hopefully I've answered yeah, why I put the put them on. Never mind, there's less in the way than I thought. Okay. It's got a bounce. You bounce, buddy. Have a good bounce. Yeah, catch you later. You have a good one. Thinking of moving to the next army painter. Scribe it, use a metal ruler. That's kind of what I was thinking, Ed. But again, even then, I'm just wondering how neat I could do it. I mean, what I'd probably do is try it, because I've got quite a few tools that are sharp, pointy and small. So I could scribe, and I've got a nice metal ruler. So yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking I was going to try. But again, yeah, we'll see. Because it would be a lot easier doing it that way rather than making a whole load more panels to glue on top. Too long-winded, and I know sometimes I think people ask me a question and hope for a yes or no answer. It's very rare I think I give a yes or no answer, because I think sometimes yes and no just doesn't quite cut the mustard. Or in my head it doesn't. So yeah, I give you a nice roundabout explanation of all sorts. Take from it what you will. Some of it's probably good, a lot of it's like waffle. Right. I think I'm going to fill this little bit in here, see if I can put a bit in there. I don't think I've got enough to do this big wing bit, plus I say there is the extra round bit, and I was kind of hoping to do that as one sort of unit. So yeah, I think I'm going to fill this bit, fill that bit, maybe do that bit. But yeah, you can see I love how these have come out. Oh, my screen stopped again. I hope it's not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I love how these have come out, and these are going to look pretty cool on there. Yeah, I think it's just my iPad's having a bit of a wobbly time. Oh, crashed it again. Has it crashed? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, my driving's bad. Who knows what it is. Right. So yeah, if it crashes again, I'm not going to come back. I'm going to try and drive a bit more safely. But if I crash, apologies. Have a great week. Try the chicken. I'm not here all week. Right, let's do some of that. And ooh, we're going to put it in there. So I can't quite get to it. So we're going to have to eyeball this. Well, there's been no new comments. I hope I'm still going, because I can't tell, to be honest. Right. About there. It's fixed now. Awesome. And that one is a bit like that. Right, God, this really is eyeballing it to get the size. Let's go there. It's not going to be a million miles out, he says, and about there. Right. Something like that. Let's go all the way along. Oh, shut off. Oh man, I'm still recording. It's been recording for 17 minutes. I won't be using all of that footage, that's for sure. I think it was that. How's that? Oh, it's not too shabby. Do I have a dedicated room for this now? No. No, I'm still in a living room. It's a bigger living room, but I'm still in a living room. I'm in a little corner. The one good thing is I haven't now got the kitchen behind me, which is why obviously I've got a wall behind me, so that's why I've got my little on-air sign, which I've had for quite some time. My kids bought me that. And just here, I've got a huge big window. Where I was before, I had a big window, but this window, it's one of those sort of cantilever ones, because basically I'm up in the top floor. It's like an angled roof. So this window is probably about 4 foot by about 3 foot, and say it angles in a weird way because it's in like an angled roof, but it's huge, so it lets in a lot of air. So yeah, but I've got more storage space. This one's got 2 bedrooms. My last place only had 1 bedroom. This has got 2, but lots and lots of cupboard storage space. Which is why again I'm thinking about doing the old sprue builds, just because say last time I had so many boxes of sprues, it was ridiculous. It took over. It took over. Whereas now I've got a bit of room for them. That's not too bad. But say yeah, no, I would love to have like a proper studio or studio space, or even a house with a big garden that I would build a shed down the bottom and turn that into a studio. So I'm good at DIY. I could make my own shed, kit it out with electrics, wires, water, all the rest. But I just don't have the money to buy a house. So yeah. But yeah, no, I would love to have space to make, say, big builds. So that's why all the builds are still on the same. I'm still at the same size desk, basically. Which is why, say, anything I build, especially Warhammer wise, it needs to be able to fit on my desk. Yeah. Right, that's that that bit done. So we'll find a little bit for there, which isn't going to be that. That bit looks a bit bigger. I think that'll do. In fact, I think I'm just going to glue that on, and then I can cut the excess off. So I'm definitely looking forward to all the panels being on, and then going round with the old sprue goo, filling in all the gaps, and then making it all nice, neat, flat, smooth, all the rest of it. And then getting on and doing all the sort of fiddly little bits, but the fiddly little bits that are going to make it really good. So I am looking forward to these engines, because these engines are pretty cool with the old like little panels at the back, all this wiring detail. It's going to be fun. So still not too sure what to do about these weapons. That one's simple enough, that'll just be a tube. But these ones, oh pardon me, I mean I might just make them just straight out of sprues. As much as I'd like to make them out of something else, or even 3D print them and then make a mould. So with the sprues, sometimes moulds, because that'd be quite a deep, well, so it's not deep, but in sprue terms, it'd be quite a deep mould that it won't come out too well. Let's say, obviously, doing this sort of mould is great because it's very, very shallow, so they come out perfect. So I had to go at making, say, the cone bit for this. I was having problems with, so I had to go at making just the cone bits. But even they have a few issues trying to get it down into that depth without obviously there being little gaps is quite difficult. And the fact that it's quite deep, it takes longer for it to dry. So they take a good 12 hours to dry before you can sort of pop them out. And then you pop them out and then you find out obviously there's still potholes and bits. So yeah, I think the guns, there's a fair chance I'm just going to make the guns straight from sprues. But we'll see when we get to that bit, because again, I'm not even thinking about that bit yet. Right, last few panelly bits we'll do up the top here. Oh, I hope I might get away with going. Oh no, I'll go that way. How are we doing for time? 10:30. That's okay. Cool. Ooh, just enough. But just enough is just enough. Cool. So yeah, guys, last sort of 10 minutes. Yeah, how are you guys? You guys all right? You having a good week? It's only Monday, isn't it? I so lose track of days. I think it's because for me, every day is like a day. I don't really feel like weekends and weekdays, which is kind of nice in a way because it means I love every day. It's not like I have to wait and look forward to a weekend. Every day is just a fun day. Let's get my hand on that a little bit longer because I'm just going to do the bit at the back. Yeah, and then yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Got a good whole side almost sort of done. I say, not having really any more panels left. Yeah, there's not a lot left. But say that will all change once these boxes of sprues turn up. Like someone was saying earlier, do I make all the panels for a job in advance? What I will do is once I get loads of sprues, I will cut loads of nibbly knobbly bits up, put them into the acetone, make the sprue goo. I will make loads of panels in advance, and then put them in my my bits box of, well, sprue bits box, just so then when I do make a build, I've got loads of bits ready, so I can almost crack on, make the frame, have all the panels, and crack on. Because obviously having to wait in between making panels obviously slows the job down, which again isn't too bad for me because I've got other jobs that I'm working on at the same time, so I can sort of flick between all of them. But yeah, having loads of panels ready is obviously much nicer. Avalon's not in the mood to start work at 7:30 tomorrow. Yeah, see, that's why I must admit I am quite lucky that it's like it's like this morning, because I don't work set hours. It's not like I get up and have to do like a 9 to 5 job. This morning I woke up about 4 o'clock, but I'm one of them people. Once I wake up, I'm up. So I woke up, I sat at my desk, I did some work. About 7:30, 7:45, started feeling tired. Obviously not surprising, so I woke up at 4 and I've gone to bed about midnight the night before. So I went back to bed. Went back to bed about 7:45, and I think I woke up about 10. And then obviously got up and carried on. So yeah, I'm quite fortunate that I don't have to set my alarm. Well, some mornings I do, when I'm doing the school run. Obviously, I've set the alarm to make sure I get the kids to school on time. But in regards to work-wise, I can kind of like work when I want, really, which is cool. Andre never has any sprues. How dare you not having sprues? If I wanted to do something like this with styrene, any suggestions for what to use for making a frame? Well, quite simply, what do you have lying around your house or your flat? Yeah, I mean, what do you have lying around? It's like I've just started keeping. Funny enough, yeah, I'm going to do some videos soon. I've started keeping all my Coke cans. I'm keeping them because they're so thin. What I'm going to do with my Coke cans is use the old like can opener, take off the top, take off the bottom, unravel it, and then probably put books on it to try and flatten it out. So I'll have loads of sheets of, I don't know what Coke can's made of. Is it aluminium? Or is it something else? Is it a plastic? Well, whatever it is. So I'm going to start using Coke cans to make stuff. I've started keeping tins of beans. Obviously, I eat the beans. But clean the tin out, take the packaging off. Oh, pardon me, or the label off. So yeah, so when it comes to what can you use to make a frame, it really is a case of what do you have around to make a frame with. Because obviously anything can be used to make a frame. If it's going to be covered in something, it doesn't really matter what's on the inside. It's like my very first Great Unclean one I made. I used the spindle from a CD holder, and I glued polystyrene balls to the spindle, and then I put the sprue goo over the top. So yeah, the skeleton or the bones of something can be made from whatever you want it to be made of. It just depends on what you've got, I guess. Yeah. Stuart Perry, excellent progress. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, so stream-wise, it's only taken, what, about 8-9 hours to do this. If I wasn't doing this on stream, this probably would have taken an hour, maybe 2 hours. And that's me taking my time still watching something on Netflix. But yeah, I enjoy doing the streams because they're fun. But yeah, no, you're right. It is. It's getting there. It's getting there. Well, as Mick Dunn just said, it's getting there. It is. Slowly but surely. But it is a case of now I have, almost looks camouflaged. If it was like in a sand duney sort of thing, having all these weird speckledy bits. But say these sprues or these panels are smoother than any panels I've made before because I've put them in the Ooey Gooey Mangler, patent pending. Yeah, otherwise known as a pasta maker. Steve's just got in from a 4-hour session of D&D Acquisitions Incorporated. Oh, awesome. See, hopefully I've got a game of D&D this Thursday. I've not played D&D for the last 3 weeks because of my commitments or other people's commitments. Yeah, because when I last played D&D back in '83, well, between '83 and '87 I played. Obviously it was a lot easier to play back then because I was playing at school and then my first sort of year at work. So everyone kind of did D&D and then work and life sort of revolved around it. As opposed to now when you get older, you kind of play D&D, you got to fit that in around work and other commitments. But yes, fingers crossed, Thursday's D&D is going to go ahead because I love it. Although I am hopefully soon going to be hosting my own D&D sessions because I want to build a table and like the old TV monitor in the table because yeah, I love being a player. I also love being a DM. So yeah, can't wait. Anyway, I'm waffling. The streams are good for all of us. That's awesome. That's cool to hear. Cheers, Stuart. Yeah, I think I'm just generally I'm good background music, kind of in a strange way, I guess. While you guys are building, playing, or doing whatever you're doing, yeah, just have me on in the background. Yeah, just to help whatever it is go by, I guess. Right, I think I'm kind of done because this bit. So this was one of the panels that was left for about 2 days, and when I put it in my my little mangler, rather than flattening it out, it's kind of cracked it. So this is why I'm going to do a video on making flat panels like these ones here that came out super flat, because they were done about 12 hours after I took the sprue goo out and rolled them out and made the panel. Whereas say this one was about 48 hours afterwards. And I did try, say earlier on, I did try doing one that was only about 8 hours, but it was too soft, made a right mess of my my mangler. But hey ho, I'm waffling. Right, yeah, guys, any last questions, ask now. Otherwise, I am gonna go. I'm gonna have a little tidy up with this, and what I might start doing is getting all my D&D WizKids sprues and start cutting them up, getting them into acetone, getting them ready for making sprue goo to make my dragon. I'm looking forward to making the dragon. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I need to find some pictures first. Anyway, that's it, guys. I might do a live stream Thursday, but it would be Thursday morning, because obviously I do D&D Thursday evening. It'll be a live stream Thursday morning, and it'll be me opening a surprise box from WizKids. So they sent me a box with $400 worth of, well, I'm not too sure, but they know I like miniatures, they know I like D&D. So I'm guessing it's going to be along those lines of D&D miniatures, or it might be a whole variety of tabletop kind of stuff. So yes, I honestly I haven't got a clue what's in there. All I know is whatever it is, it's worth $400. So that should be cool. So I'm excited because obviously whatever it is, I'm going to love it. Anyway, I am going to go. I'm going to get my mouse, and I am. What's this, Box Fox? Do a GoFundMe to buy me a house. Well, it's not the house, it's a studio I need. Obviously, if I had a house, then I could have a shed garden. But yeah, I need obviously a bigger channel, more views, all the rest of it. And then, yeah, I would love to have a studio and build, yeah, some big stuff. Anyway, guys, you all take care. I'm going to try and casually get the mouse over to it. Why is it not going over? See, I can't even end a stream sort of nicely. I've lost my mouse, man. Again, see, my mouse is going from my two main screens, so it's connected via Wi-Fi to my iPad, so the mouse should just flick across. But for some reason, it's frozen. Oh man. See, here's me trying to subtly get my stream to finish in a nice, professional way, but I'm still here. You guys, mind your own business. Stop looking at the screen. I'm not really here. What's that box? They just sent me $400 of sprues. I'd be happy with that, to be honest. I'd be happy with $400 of sprues. Right, the mouse is moving very slowly because I need to click on something, and it's do you know that game? Oh, I don't know what game it is, but when you move something and then it doesn't move and it like glitches and it jumps. Well, that's what I'm getting. Oh, there we go. I think can I click it? Ah, pizza loving girl. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm still trying to shut down the stream, guys. So carry on watching, by all means. My mouse is just honestly, it's like a weird game. I'm trying to get it onto the thing I need, but it's like it's already moving for you. I wish it was moving for me because it's jumping. So anyway, night to you all. Love you all. Love pizza. And yeah, say Thursday morning I might be doing the next one if I can ever shut this one down. If not, shall I just stream? Just keep streaming. I can always take the streaming into my bedroom and you guys watch me sleep if you want. Oh, right, there we go. I think I've clicked it. There we go. Even though I still haven't got my end one, it's still going to say live streaming. Right, guys, I'm definitely going. Thank you so much all for being there. I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Right, I'm definitely going now.